So, in my last video, I told you about what MSO is from a very high level. Now we're going to go down a layer in the stack, and I'm going to show you what MSO does from a logical view. So the first thing I want you to know and really understand is that your cloud provider doesn't matter, right? This could be AWS and ACI. It could be multiple ACIs. In this instance, we have AWS and Azure. It could be any combination thereof. The point you need to understand from this case is your cloud provider doesn't matter anymore. So let's talk about what MSO does. Your users are out here. They have a laptop, they have a phone, they have a whatever, and they are trying to get through the internet to this web server, and this web server gets information from a database. Now, this is a very simplistic, interaction. This does not assume microservices, but it really doesn't matter because no matter what the application or service you're trying to provide, MSO can orchestrate it. So in this very simplistic view, we have these C's right here. And C stands for contract, right? And a contract governs what A talks to B and what B talks to A, right? So right now we have a contract that is web to internet right here. And we have a contract that is web to database right here. And from a application profile view, we have this contract here, and we have an endpoint group that is web, and an endpoint group that is database, and we write a contract. And then up here, we have an endpoint group that is internet, and we have an endpoint group that is web, and we have a contract that governs what they see, or what they can talk to, or what they can do. Because in this new world, zero trust is the way to go. So let's go look at what is going on under the hood. So we're going to go down in here under application management, and we're going to go to schemas. Now, we're a modern company, and we have dev and prod because we're going to start things in dev. Now, right now, dev is provided to two different sites. Remember this? Remember our two different sites we had earlier? We have Azure and we have AWS. These are the names of them, Acme Global and DCWW. Name doesn't matter, it's just what those instances are called, right? So the cool thing here is we can look at this and we can look at our profiles here, right? Our application profiles. And we have our database one, which is web to database, and the VERF that it's going through, and anything that's external, right? And that looks right? We don't want a database talking to the internet. That's super sketch. That should not happen. So we can look at our web endpoint group here, and oh look, it's got a contract from web to database, and it's got a contract to web from internet. Here's the VERF that it runs on. Now, the very interesting thing here is if we click internet, we can see the things that it is talking to, because internet is an external endpoint group, which is something that exists outside of our, abstracted environment, right? So that's other. This could be DMZ, this could be, other company, whatever. Use your imagination. It could be anything you want, right? So let's go look at our Cloud Apex and look and see what this looks like on our Cloud Apex. So we're going to start with AWS. I'm going to come down in here. We're going to go to Application Profiles, right? So I'm going to point something out here. Now before, remember when we were looking at our cloud resources and we were seeing, oh yeah, it tells you when something is provisioned by MSO. If we look here, yep, this is configured by MSO, but I want to point this out here. Bank app. Bank app is not provisioned by MSO. So one thing that I hear from customers a lot is they say, I just don't want to be constricted, and I got these other jokers over here that are a bunch of developers, and like they have to have their own control. That's cool. Let's say you have a group of developers that need to write one application on one instance of AWS, but you got 6 AWS instances and 3 Azure instances and 4 ACI instances. You can push policy to and from all of those instances and leave that one thing for those one group of jokers and have local rules-based access for whatever needs to happen just in one instance. Hopefully that makes sense. But let's go look at this one that's provisioned by MSO. We're going to bring that up. So if you're familiar with ACI at all, we're going to look at our topology here. And this is going to show us, oh yeah, we're going to look at our endpoint groups. Here is our application profile that's showing all the things involved in them, right? And we can go to our application management here. Now this is all the stuff that is in this application profile. Remember we had those 5 elements that were pushed down? Here's all those elements published by MSO. We can look at them here. And let's go see what it looks like on the Azure side. So we're going to go in here to application profiles. Now remember before, when we went back in here, we had this bank app, right? This was only on AWS. But you'll notice it's not here on Azure because it is not published by MSO. And that's okay. We're all right with that. But we're going to look at Acme Global Dev because, again, we're working on our dev program first. And we're going to look at our topology, and we're going to see it's exactly the same. And we've got those 5 elements that are pushed down from MSO. And now you can know every time I need to change this application, I don't have to go figure out, okay, what's it called in AWS when you do that thing? Or what's it called in Azure when you do that thing? No, just learn it once and change the master policy, push it out, then promote that master policy from dev to prod. Easy peasy. So that is what I wanted to show you today. Thanks for watching.